You are staring at your dashboard screen, and it looks like someone smeared petroleum jelly across the lens. The image is milky, washed out, a gray fog sitting permanently over everything your camera is supposed to show you. You throw your truck into reverse, and you cannot tell if that blurry dark shape 2 feet from your bumper is a trash can, a bicycle, or a child. So you crack your window, twist your neck until your spine screams at you, and you back out the old way, praying nothing rolls under your tires. Every single day, every single parking lot, every single tight driveway. You paid thousands of dollars for a vehicle with a built-in safety system, and right now that safety system is less useful than a cracked mirror leaned against a fence post. You finally decide you have had enough. You drive to the dealership with a simple request: fix my camera. What happens next is something that should genuinely make you furious, because the service advisor does not even flinch when he reads you the number. $400 plus labor. He slides the estimate across the counter like it is perfectly normal, like you are supposed to nod and hand over your card without asking a single question. He tells you the camera module is damaged. He tells you water got in, or the electronics degraded, or the sensor itself is worn out. He uses technical language specifically designed to make you feel like the problem is complicated, expensive, and completely beyond your ability to understand or challenge. You drive home with a blurry screen and a simmering rage that you cannot quite put into words, because somewhere in the back of your mind you already suspect that something about this story does not add up. It does not add up because the story is not true. Your camera electronics are not broken. Your sensor is not damaged. There is no water intrusion, and there is no failed module that needs to be ripped out of your trunk and replaced with a new one. The image on your screen looks like it was filmed through a foggy shower door because of something happening on the outside of the lens, not the inside of the camera. The fog is not coming from the electronics. It is sitting on the plastic surface in front of them, invisible to the naked eye at close range, but catastrophically effective at destroying image quality. And the fix for it is sitting on the shelf in your bathroom right now. It costs $1, it takes 60 seconds. And the automotive industry is counting on the fact that you will never figure that out, because the moment you do, a $400 line item disappears from their service menu forever. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you is going to make you feel like you have been robbed in slow motion for years. To understand why this works, you need to go back to the engineering decision that started all of this. When automotive manufacturers began integrating backup cameras into mass-market vehicles, they needed a lens material that was lightweight, cheap to mold at scale, and optically clear enough to pass quality control on the assembly line. The material they chose was polycarbonate plastic. Polycarbonate has genuine advantages. It is nearly shatterproof, which matters on a component mounted 6 inches from the ground on the exterior of a moving vehicle. It is lightweight, it is inexpensive to produce in enormous volumes, and on day one, when that vehicle rolls off the line and gets parked under the showroom lights, it looks perfect. The image is crisp, the colors are rich, the resolution is everything the spec sheet promised. But polycarbonate has a fundamental weakness that every materials engineer in the world understands, and that automotive executives quietly accepted as a cost of doing business. Polycarbonate is exceptionally vulnerable to ultraviolet radiation. Without proper UV stabilization baked into the material at the molecular level, or a durable UV-resistant hard coat applied to the surface, polycarbonate begins degrading the moment sunlight touches it. Not over decades, over months. The UV energy attacks the polymer chains at the surface, breaking them apart in a process called photo-oxidation. The outermost layer of the plastic stops being smooth and optically neutral. It becomes a microscopic wasteland of fractured polymer, pitting, crazing, and surface irregularities that scatter incoming light in every direction instead of allowing it to pass cleanly through to the sensor behind. Think about what it means for light to be scattered rather than transmitted. When a lens surface is perfectly smooth, light travels in a straight, coherent path from the scene in front of the camera directly onto the image sensor. Every photon arrives at the sensor carrying accurate information about color, contrast, and position. The resulting image is sharp because the optical path was clean. But when that lens surface is covered in microscopic craters and ridges created by UV degradation, and constant road grit abrasion, each of those surface imperfections acts like a tiny prism or a tiny mirror pointed in the wrong direction. Light that should have traveled straight through gets deflected, scattered, and mixed with light from adjacent areas of the scene. The sensor receives a jumbled signal instead of a clean one. What your brain perceives as fog or haze on the screen is literally your camera trying to process light that arrived from the wrong direction because the lens surface redirected it. The electronics are working perfectly. They are faithfully reproducing exactly what they see. What they see is chaos, because the optical surface in front of them has turned into a microscopic gravel road. Now here is where this becomes extraordinary. The same polycarbonate degradation problem has been plaguing automotive headlight lenses for 30 years. Any car more than 5 years old develops that same yellow, hazy film over the headlight covers. And the solution that the detailing industry figured out for headlights is exactly the same solution that works on your backup camera lens, because the material, the degradation mechanism, and the required fix are chemically and physically identical. You need a fine, abrasive compound capable of removing just enough of the damaged surface layer to expose the undamaged polymer beneath without cutting so aggressively that you alter the lens geometry or introduce deeper scratches of its own. Professional headlight restoration kits sell for $20 or $30. Dedicated plastic lens polishes sell for $15. But there is a product in your bathroom that contains the exact same functional ingredient at a fraction of the cost, in quantities so small that a single tube lasts for dozens of applications. Standard white toothpaste contains hydrated silica as its primary abrasive agent. Hydrated silica is a synthetic compound engineered at a particle size specifically chosen to be aggressive enough to remove soft deposits from tooth enamel, which is one of the hardest biological materials in the human body, while remaining gentle enough that daily use does not erode the enamel itself. That particle size calibration is not accidental. Dental researchers spent decades refining it. What they created is essentially one of the most precisely engineered micro-polishing compounds available in consumer products, and it is available at every dollar store on the planet. When you apply hydrated silica to an oxidized polycarbonate surface and work it in with light circular pressure, it does to the dead plastic layer exactly what it does to surface stains on enamel. It levels the peaks of the microscopic damage, it fills the valleys with its own fine particles temporarily, creating a slurry that carries the abraded material away. And when you wipe it clean, the surface left behind is dramatically smoother, dramatically more optically neutral, and dramatically more capable of transmitting light in a clean, coherent path to your camera sensor. 60 seconds. $1. The fog dissolves. Now let us talk about what the dealership is actually selling you when they quote $400 to replace your camera module, because the details of that transaction are deeply worth examining. The technician assigned to this job first needs to access the camera harness, which on most vehicles means pulling the interior trim panels from your trunk or tailgate area. This is not a quick job. It involves removing panels that clip and screw into the vehicle body, disconnecting wire harness connectors, threading a new camera cable through the vehicle body, and reassembling everything in reverse. The labor alone for this process typically runs 1.5 to 2 hours at dealership shop rates. The replacement camera module itself is an OEM part that carries an automotive markup completely disconnected from its actual manufacturing cost. And when that new module is installed and the job is complete, you drive home with a pristine, optically clear backup camera view on your screen for about 6 months. Because the new camera module comes from the same supply chain, built to the same specification, using the same grade of polycarbonate plastic with the same inadequate UV protection that made your original lens cloud over in the first place. The manufacturers did not redesign the lens material when they shipped you the replacement part. They did not upgrade the coating. They did not address the root cause. They reset the clock. You paid $400 and several hours of your time to buy yourself another cycle of degradation before the same fog returns to the same screen and the same service advisor slides the same estimate across the same counter. That is not a repair. That is a subscription you never agreed to sign up for. And every UV-stabilized polycarbonate formulation that exists, Every durable hard coat technology that could make that lens last for the life of the vehicle at minimal added cost per unit represents a decision that was deliberately not made. Because a camera lens that lasts forever is a camera lens that never needs to be replaced, and a camera lens that never needs to be replaced does not generate $400 service tickets. Subscribe right now before you keep watching. I am not asking you as a favor. I am asking you because the corporations that profit from your confusion and your frustration are counting on most people scrolling past this information before it reaches someone who can actually use it. Every subscriber on this channel is one more person who does not have to sit across from a service advisor and believe a lie. Hit the button. It costs you nothing, and it is the most direct way you have to make sure this information keeps reaching people who need it. Now, here is exactly what you are going to do today. Go to your bathroom and find a tube of standard white toothpaste. Read the label before you touch your camera. The toothpaste you need is basic white paste, the kind that has been in your medicine cabinet since you were a child. Colgate, Crest, store brand, it does not matter, as long as it is white and it is paste. Set that tube on your counter and look at everything else in that drawer, because there are products right next to it that will destroy your camera lens permanently if you use them instead. Gel toothpaste has no abrasive content and will accomplish nothing. Charcoal toothpaste contains activated charcoal particles that are jagged, irregular, and far too aggressive for polycarbonate. They will not polish your lens. They will gouge it. One pass of charcoal formula on a soft plastic lens, under any amount of pressure, creates scratches so deep that no amount of follow-up polishing will remove them. You will have turned a restorable hazy lens into an irreparably scratched one, and at that point the $400 replacement really does become your only option. Whitening formulas with added peroxides can cause surface chemical reactions with polycarbonate over repeated applications. Avoid them. You want plain white silica paste and nothing else. Take your tube outside to your vehicle with a clean microfiber towel and a small cup of water or access to a hose. Look at your backup camera lens. On most vehicles, it is a small, convex disc, approximately the diameter of a pencil eraser, typically mounted in the center of the rear emblem, in the trunk handle recess, or on the lip of the tailgate. Wipe the lens surface clean and dry with one corner of your microfiber towel to remove any loose dirt or grit. Applying abrasive over loose particulate contamination will cause larger scratches, so this step matters. Squeeze the smallest usable drop of toothpaste directly onto the lens surface. You are covering an area roughly the size of a shirt button, so the quantity you need is genuinely tiny. A drop the size of a grain of rice is sufficient. Using your fingertip or the clean pad of your microfiber towel folded into a tight square, apply gentle circular motions across the entire lens surface. You are not scrubbing, you are polishing. The pressure you want is the same pressure you would use to clean a smudge off your eyeglasses without scratching them. Maintain this circular motion for 60 seconds. You will notice the toothpaste turns slightly gray or grayish white as it picks up the abraded, oxidized material from the lens surface. That discoloration is proof the process is working. After 60 seconds, dampen a clean section of your microfiber towel and wipe the lens completely clean. Remove every trace of the paste residue, then dry it with a fresh, dry section. Put your vehicle in reverse and look at your screen. The image that was sitting behind a permanent underwater filter this morning will be sharper, brighter, and more detailed than it has been in years. If your lens oxidation is severe, meaning the fogging has been building for several years without any treatment, you may need to repeat this process 2 or 3 times in succession to fully clear the accumulated degradation. Each pass removes another layer of damaged material and exposes cleaner polymer beneath. Give it 2 or 3 cycles with a fresh application of paste each time before evaluating the final result. Once you have restored clarity, you can extend the results dramatically with one additional step that costs almost nothing. Apply a small amount of UV protectant spray, any product designed for plastic trim, rubber seals, or dashboard surfaces, to the freshly polished lens and buff it clean. The UV protectant deposits a thin protective layer over the restored surface that slows the rate of reoxidation significantly. Repeat the toothpaste polish every 3 to 6 months as a maintenance step, and your camera lens will stay optically clear indefinitely. That is a permanent solution for under $2 total, maintained for the cost of a single tube of toothpaste per year. Let me put this in the simplest possible terms so the comparison is completely unavoidable. Option 1. Drive to the dealership, hand over $400, lose most of your day while a technician disassembles your trunk interior, and drive home with a new camera that will cloud over again within the year because the root cause was never addressed. Option 2. Spend 60 seconds in your own driveway with a $1 product from your bathroom shelf. Restore your camera to better than new optical clarity and repeat as needed for the rest of your vehicle ownership at zero meaningful cost. These two options solve the exact same problem. One of them makes an enormous amount of money for people who are counting on your ignorance. The other one makes you the most dangerous kind of customer the automotive service industry has ever encountered, one who actually understands what is wrong with their car. Share this video right now with whoever in your life always complains about their blurry backup camera. Text it to them, post it, send it directly, because they are this close to sitting across from a service advisor and writing a $400 check for a problem that is waiting to be solved in their bathroom drawer, and they deserve to know the truth before that conversation happens. And before you close this tab, you need to know what is coming next. I have been investigating a practice that is quietly costing drivers between $800 and $1,500 every single time their vehicle goes in for an alignment check, and the most infuriating part is that the equipment being used to diagnose the problem was calibrated incorrectly from the day it was installed. The shops know, the manufacturer that sold them, the machine knows. And neither one of them has any reason to fix it because a misread alignment printout is worth thousands of dollars a year in unnecessary suspension work. Hit that notification bell right now because what I am about to expose next is going to make this video look like a warm-up.